All right, so I'm Justin Arenich. I'm a homebrew or a Nintendo homebrew enthusiast. This area is the NES Homebrew area that we set up each year at MAGFest. Over here we have a little bit of the Mega Cat guys stuff. They kind of have their own company and produce all sorts of cool stuff for the Genesis, Super Nintendo, and NES. And then over on this half over here is pretty much exclusively NES Homebrew, made by all sorts of people. People who have their own companies, have their own businesses, and just mostly hobbyists, honestly. So first up here that you see being played, this is Haunted Halloween 86 by a company called Retrotainment. Some super cool guys. They're normally here each year showing everything off, but they couldn't make it this time, so we're showing it off for them. It's sort of a Halloween-themed, spooky beat-em-up type game. So this is RC Squared Rally. This is a racing game made by a guy named Goodtune in Japan. So this is actually a really cool game for what it is. It's made off of the most basic board possible for the NES, the NROM board, and it has a whole bunch, thousands and thousands of tracks that are sort of just generated. So it's cool, even though it's such a simple game, you can race, get your times, and then challenge other people to the specific track you're racing just by giving them a set of numbers and letters. You can actually customize your car, the engine, all that sort of stuff too. So it's a really slick game for being on such a simple mapper with the 8-way scrolling and everything else. So this is Heredia Zero. This is also made by a Japanese game maker, Impact Soft. So this is actually, a lot of people think it looks like Gradius, but it's actually a port of a game for the MSX called Heredia Zero. It's the same game, but it's actually made for the Famicom. Really great game. It's been selling a whole bunch of copies over in Japan. It's just really hard to get it over here. So we're working on getting a NES localized version here that we're going to hopefully get released sometime this year. So these two games are actually from some new people on the scene. Light Shields by Zutano Games, and we have Blockage over here by The Dock. These are sort of small puzzlish type games. Light Shield is a two-player game where you kind of bounce a ball off of each other and try to hit each other. But you can shoot through the shields, and it's kind of like making a hole in one shield to hit the other guy. So you kind of have to like fight through them, but usually two people are shooting each other, so it's a little more challenging. Blockage is actually a little puzzle game with a whole bunch of levels. I've heard that it gets pretty infuriating, but basically the point is to shift the puzzle around to get the ball into the hole. So it gets exceedingly more challenging over time. So these are all pretty easy levels, but see, it's already starting to put my mental capacity to the test here. So pretty neat little game. Actually, he can talk about this one.
So my name's Chris, and I actually created this game called Depths. It is kind of an artsy game. It is kind of a statement on mental health. It's about passive suicidal ideation and just awareness of it. So it's a little adventure game, sort of. Has a little bit of lore at the beginning, but you play as a character kind of floating through the ocean trying to survive. And there's going to be cartridges available for this soon that are going to be to benefit Mental Health America. So it's pretty cool.
Right now we're showing off Project Blue. This was recently successfully funded on a Kickstarter, but basically action platformer, one screen at a time kind of game, sort of in the style of a Mega Man type game. Actually has a really cool story. You can find out more about it on Kickstarter, but yeah, you kind of just run around in this cool dystopian futuristic type game areas and just collect money and don't get killed, basically. Awesome art style by Franken Graphics. It looks great, plays great, so there you have it. So last up here we have Micromages, which is another game that was kickstarted and has been wildly successful. This game is not only famous for being 4 players, not only famous for being awesome and cool looking and fun to play, but also impressive because it is an NROM only game as well. So this entire game fits on 40 kilobytes of information on the simplest mapper that Nintendo has to offer. Sort of the same thing that runs Super Mario Brothers, the original one. But as you can see, it's kind of a frantic cooperative / maybe not so cooperative game where you kind of work together to climb the tops of these towers and fight all sorts of crazy bosses. Great fun. It's been a big hit at the convention so far. So very happy we were able to show it here today. See you suckers later. I'm out of here. Oh, Matt.